To continuing coverage, the city of Tyler has adopted a $255.9 million budget for the upcoming year. Tyler City Council also adopted a slightly lower tax rate, although people will still be paying more because of increasing values. $50 million of this budget will go toward capital improvements, including upgrading water and sewer systems, with another $25.7 million to be used for phase 1 of the downtown Tyler revitalization project. The city is also set to tackle one of the biggest wastewater treatment projects in nearly 70 years. The Southside wastewater treatment plant will undergo major renovations, totaling almost $15 million. As KLTV7's Lauren Tier tells us, the project is a top priority to increase capacity and reduce the risk of system failures.
Built in 1955, the Southside wastewater treatment plant is in need of rehabilitation, according to Tyler Water Utilities. The aging systems require several improvements, including aeration basin upgrades, digester improvements, and other parts essential for wastewater processing.
When processes get old and they're less efficient, they don't operate at their full capacity. So this gives us the ability to move into the future and have enough capacity for growth.
TWU Director Kate Dietz says the average daily flow per permit into the Southside plant is 9 million gallons per day, in comparison to the 13 million at the Westside plant. And there's a potential additional bonus for those in a particularly smelly radius.
Just making these improvements should help mitigate the odor issues that are occurring from potential buildup at the primary.
Dietz says an official odor control process project will come in the future, but that this project will help in the meantime. Graycon Construction has been awarded the contract with the city. Once the improvements start, Dietz says customers shouldn't notice any disruptions to their service.
Most of the time you really don't have any idea what's going on, other than, things are being improved and they're more reliable, more efficient. That's kind of the beauty of construction at wastewater treatment plants, and typically at water treatment plants as well.
Lauren Tier, KLTV 7 News.
We're told construction is set to begin in October, and it should be done 2 years later by October of 2026. It'll cost more than $14.7 million and is bond funded.